Hello. If I don't press record now, I'm never going to press it. And I want to record this whole process for you. So I am a 55-year-old woman. I have a leukemia called CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia. If you Google it, it tells you terrible things, but it's actually fine. I'm going to be fine. I don't need chemo or anything like that, but it does mess with my energy levels a little bit. And I decided about 2 weeks ago that I was going to do a bodybuilding competition, my first time ever. And the reason that I decided to do that was because my energy levels aren't what they used to be. I have been a taekwondo athlete, and my favorite style of training is martial arts and sprinting and running and kicking and punching things. And I just don't quite have it in the tank at the moment. It may come back, I don't know. But for now, I just decided that I was feeling very lost with my training. And I asked myself, what can I do with what I have right now? What can I do with the energy that I have? And I'd noticed the patterns in my energy. I have plenty of energy in the morning up until about lunchtime, and then it crashes. And with martial arts and things like that, most classes are at night time. So it's just not been on the table for me. I've been lying to myself, telling myself I'd get back to classes, and it's just hasn't been happening. And I was lost. I was very lost in my training, and I was following programs and going to the gym and, you know, progressively overloading and all those sorts of things, but I was half-assing it. And I didn't feel inspired to be in the gym. I didn't feel like there was purpose behind my training. And I was noticing that that was impacting everything. It was impacting, you know, how I felt in life. And that was translating into my business. I just felt uninspired in my business. And I thought, I need something that's going to give me, it's going to flick the switch on the competitive side of me. So yeah, I was a competitive fighter for 10 years. And I own martial arts schools, and even when I wasn't fighting anymore, I was coaching my students to fight, or I still trained like I was fighting. And I remember actually at a competition one day I went to watch, and I was hanging out with one of our Olympic competitors, and we were talking about just what we'd been up to. And she said, "You still eat and train like you're still competing." And I'm like, yeah, I know, there's no fucking off switch. And she was like, that's amazing. But for me, that just feels like how you train, right? It's so deeply ingrained to me that that's how you train. And even when I wasn't training for a fight anymore, I still had the focus on bettering myself. As a martial artist, I always want to better myself. And so even if there was no grading on the horizon, there's still ways, there are still so many things that we can fix and make better and improve on. It really is that Kanai thing, constant and never ending improvement. And without that in my life, it was really making life seem like I wasn't feeling like I had a lot of purpose. And anybody on the outside looking in would just be absolutely floored by that, because that's not how they see me, but it's how I was feeling. And so I decided, you know what? I need something to sink my teeth into. And I always said I would never, ever get on stage in a bikini and bodybuild, because for me, that just never held any appeal. And to be honest, it still doesn't. I'm not excited about the swimsuit and the hair and the makeup and the heels and the being on stage thing. That's not what's driving me. It's what's going to keep me honest, because my ass is going to be on stage for the world to see. But that's not actually what drives me. What drives me is the process. I love the process. I love the grind. I love purpose behind my training. And so yeah, I just had this wild idea. It's like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to do a bodybuilding competition. So I went and had a quick look, and it's like, okay, there's a division now called swimsuit. That wasn't around 10 years ago, from in my mind anyway. And so I had a look, and I looked at the people in the swimsuit division, and I thought, yeah, my body can be like that. I'm not overly big. I've never put on a huge amount of muscle, but I thought, yeah, with a month or two of like lifting heavy and just getting a bit of the muscle coming back more than anything else, and see if we can put a little bit more on, and then leaning out, it's like, yeah, my body can look like that. I know that. And so I thought, yeah, this is good. And I had to check in with myself and ask myself, okay, so with the CLL, is this going to be too taxing on my body? I went and spoke with my specialist, and she's like, no, you're fine to do it. So that was good. And so I went and spoke with my coach. And Tim is somebody who trained me through the rehab of my third hip surgery. I was born with hip dysplasia and, a lifetime of martial arts, and I did some distance running for a while there. I'm not built for that, but I did it. I ticked the box on the half marathon triathlon thing a long time ago, and ticked the boxes on all of that, but my hip was, not in a good place. So anyway, 3 surgeries later, I didn't want a fourth, and I went and spoke to Tim, and he rehabbed my hip back to the best it's ever been. And so when I knew I wanted to do this bodybuilding competition, he was the only person that I would go to. So I went and booked an appointment with him and said, okay, I'm going to Queensland. My business, I run speaking events at different times. So I had to go and run an event, and I wanted to just enjoy myself while I was there. So I said, I've got this, and when I come back, I've got 21 weeks. Is that enough time? And he's like, yep, absolutely. So I was committed. I'm in, and I'm doing it. And I have to say that even though I'm not, there are people that have just always had the desire to be on stage and to bodybuild, and to it's not been a lifelong dream of mine. It's actually been the thing that I said I would never do because I didn't see the point in it. Yeah. Anyway, so that division is not going to tax my body too much. I don't have to put on too much. I don't have to lean out I don't have to be super, super lean. I've definitely got to lean out, but it's not to the point where it's going to do any damage. So that fits perfectly for me. And so Tim's put together my program. I'm at day 3. I'm training Monday through Friday, lifting early in the morning so I can get it done before my energy levels dip. Getting my steps in throughout the day. I've got my macros set, and I'm sitting at around 2,100 calories. I think that's 150 protein, 90 fat, and the rest are carbs. And I'm enjoying all the food. At first, I was struggling to get it all down. I typically tend to undereat, but I've been getting it down and really enjoying getting it down. It's been good. It's been really good. So yeah, I'm in the middle of it. This is the very start of it. I will put a before photo. It's not your typical bikini shot. I just took a before photo when I was in Queensland because I just thought of it, and I thought, I should really capture this, because this is really I'd put on a bit of fluffiness because I was drinking cocktails and not really moving much, and I'd been under a bit of stress as the event was coming up and things like that. So I wasn't in the best possible shape. That was my starting point. And so I thought, yeah, I'll just take that. And I'm not the sort of person that I'm a modest person. And years, 3 decades of Taekwondo where we wear a dobok. We are covered from head to toe in a uniform. And so it doesn't feel very good to me to be standing around in my bikini showing a before and after. I'm just working up to it. So just stay with me. So here is the before. And I will do a blog every single week to let you know where I'm at. But okay, so where am I at? Quick snapshot. I'm finding the training amazing. I love the program because Tim knows my body so well. He rehabbed it. He knows like where my calories need to be. He knows what exercises to give me, which ones to avoid because of my hip. And I've had a few shoulder niggles, so he's being very cautious with all of that stuff. But I'm loving the workouts so much. I'm loving the Train Heroic app that he uses. It is life. I love that app. Enjoying the food. It doesn't feel hard right now. It doesn't feel hard. So, and I don't anticipate it's going to feel hard for the first couple of months. So I'm just going to enjoy all the food. I'm going to enjoy training. I'm going to enjoy getting my steps in. I'm going to enjoy recording the process. And yeah, that's it. That is week 1. So I'll be back with week 2 and I'll let you know. It's probably going to be a little bit Groundhog Day-ish between now and, I don't know, we start to see some real action, but you know, hopefully it's boring. Hopefully there's no injuries that pop up. Hopefully there's no illness or anything like that. So with my CLL, I'll do a whole other video on that, but my last appointment with my specialist was, I think it was the 10th of April. So I've got 3 months before I go, or 3 months as of that date before I have my bloods again, before I go back to the specialist. We'll do a bone marrow biopsy sometime before the end of this year, just to get into the bone marrow and see kind of what's going on. But everything's stable at the moment. Don't need chemo, don't need anything, may never need it. But I'm feeling better than I ever have. And I know that that's to do with just having purpose behind my training and feeling excited about that. Yeah, as I say, couldn't really give a crap about getting on stage and all of that, but it will keep me honest. Everyone else is excited about it for me. That was the one thing that I actually did want to talk about. I am not going there to be competitive. I don't know what that even means. in that space. It's just like, I'm just gonna do what Tim tells me to do to the best of my ability. We'll produce a result and then I'll go and show the judges and whatever, right? I'm comfortable and confident enough in myself that I'm not gonna take anything on board. I'm not gonna be comparing myself to anybody else. You know, I think that's a beautiful thing about being in your 50s. You just don't give a shit. It's like, this is me. I'm doing this for me. So that's, you know, it's great. I love that. I love this process. I don't know how I would have felt doing this in my 20s. It probably would have done some psychological damage. I don't know for sure. I'm a pretty practical person, so I don't know, but yeah, and fighting was the best thing for me. But where was I going with that? Yes, so, and I'm competitive with myself, but I like the process, I like the grind. I've told you all of that. But, you know, everybody expects me to win shit all the time. And when I announced it, that I was doing this because on my Facebook page profile, because I did want to do that. I did want to let people know, right? I did want to let people know. I've just had this, I'm like, oh, I've got a fitness Facebook page. I might have to crank that up again. Now I've totally lost my train of thought. All right, I'm going to go backwards. Okay, I think I got it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep moving. I'm not editing this out. This is just part of it, right? Limited editing. So people expect me to win things. That's right. So when I put it on my Facebook profile, people were like, oh, you'll be amazing at this. You'll smash this. And, you know, I said as well, like, this is not for me to be competitive. Like, I don't even know what that looks like. It's about me. Like, this is for me. And they were like, oh, you know, you'll go in there and you'll smash it and you'll win and you'll blah, 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 right? And it's like, I love that people have so much faith in me. I really do. And they were like, you know, you've got the mindset for it and you've got the work ethic for it and all of that. And yes, that is all true. But people see my capacity for doing things like through a different filter than I do, like we all do, right? Because we all have our own failures and baggage and all that sort of stuff. So in our minds, like, I look like I make things look easy. I know that because I'm practiced at it, right? When you fight, you've got to have a poker face. You can't be like, telegraphing what's going on. You've got to have a poker face. So like, I'm very good at making things look easy, even when they're not. I'm one of those people as well that even when I'm dying from the flu, I don't look sick. And so no one ever feels sorry for me because I don't look sick. I have hip surgery. I'm walking around like the same day or the next day, and people are like, oh my God. I'm just very robust, and I'm very practical, and I just give, I just go for it. But I remember back when I was fighting, and there was so much pressure on me. No one was putting pressure on me. I was putting it on myself. But everybody at my club, when I had my first fight, my very first fight, everybody expected me to win, and I didn't win. I got white line fever, and I punched this poor girl in the face like 3 times. And you're not allowed to, in Taekwondo, you can kick the face, and you can kick and punch the body, but you can't punch the face. So I had 3 points taken off, and I lost by 1 point. So, did I lose or not? Anyway, but I was devastated because I just thought, I've let everybody down. I've let everybody down. Everybody expected me to win, and I'm a loser. And I carried that loss, that first loss, through my entire competitive career. It was a big fucking chip on my shoulder, and I couldn't enjoy it. I was just so playing not to lose. I wasn't playing to win, I was playing not to lose. And everything that I did was focused around not losing, because losing fucking hurts. It hurts, and it's confronting, and all of those things. And so it just did a number on me. I could have had so much more fun along the way. I could have been a lot more chill. Like a week before my competitions, I basically went mute, and I just stopped talking for like a week. And I was just inward, and I was just in my head, and I was just, yeah. And it wasn't a good thing. Like, it was like, oh, she's very focused. It's like I was in there shitting my pants, and it's like, what if I lose? Like, how am I going to handle the loss? And yeah, it was just a mind fuck. So I'm not doing that to myself this time around. And of course, everything compared to fighting feels so easy. And so now when, I'm lifting weights and I'm asked to, in the app, like gauge this out of 10, I'm like, oh, I think it's a 4, even though I've failed at every set. Do you know what? It's like, I think that's a 4, because nothing feels as hard as that, right? And so, yeah, this feels like process, and like I'm having fun with it. It feels like process and purpose to me, and that is fun to me. Like having purpose and focus and being in the grind, that is my fun. And so that's why it's going to be a good process, and I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to let the pressure from anybody else. I don't care. So I don't want anyone to be embarrassed for me if I come stone motherless last, because I'm not going to give a shit. I really am not going to give a shit. So I don't care about that. Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to give it my absolute best. And actually, there's one more thing I'm going to talk about. I know this is turning into a really long video, but like, let's just run with it. The other thing that's going to challenge me more than anything out of anything is the stage presence thing. I am not a girly girl. I sometimes do a really good impression of it when I've got my hair and my makeup done and a beautiful dress on, and I'm, speaking on stage, or I'm just hanging out at my business club or whatever it is. Like, I look like a girly girl, but I am not a girly girl. Like, I've got nails for the first time in I don't know how long. That's just because I'm not doing martial arts at the moment, and I snapped one off. That one, I'm not being rude. Yeah, so the stage presence thing and being sexy and sticking my ass out, that's going to require a whole other person. It really is. And I'm excited to meet her because I think it'll be good for me. I think it will be good for me. Yes, that's the plan. I haven't told Dave yet. He used to date a bodybuilder like years ago, decades ago, and all he spoke about was how shit it was and how much fun it wasn't dating somebody like that, and it's like we've been together 11 years, and I go on my little tangents where it's like, okay, I'm being super healthy, I'm not having wine, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I get all, and he rolls his eyes at me. So I'm not telling him. I'm especially not telling him for the first like 5 weeks, because Tim said, just keep your calories high. You can have wine, that's fine. There's room for it there. If you want to have wine on the weekend, that's fine. Don't overdo it, which I don't anyway. And then we'll start to pull it back. So I've still got a whole like 5 weeks up my sleeve before I have to like not have wine on the weekend. And then I've got like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before he'll notice that I'm not having wine. And then we'll have the conversation. I want to make it as short as possible. I'm not even going to mention it. So he's not going to notice. He's not going to know. And I think that's fucking hilarious, because it's like, I want to be able to say, see, not everyone's an asshole when they're doing comp prep. I am an angel. I'm still fun. I'm the fun girlfriend. Anyway, I'm just debating whether I tell him at all. I might just go, I'm going out for the day, and then, I don't know, stay somewhere the night before the competition so he doesn't see all of the freaking, what do we call that? Flamboyance that's going on. And then I'll just go do it, and I'll come home and I'll just say, oh, I did a bodybuilding competition today. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll see. Anyway, that is it. I'm just waffling now. Look at that sky. It's blue outside. It's winter here. Oh, it's not winter. It's like autumn. And I think next month is winter. So we've got 1 more month of autumn. So it's getting a bit cold, but it was so nice to have blue sky today for my walk. Anyway, that's it. Over and out. I will see you next week. Bye. Mwah. Big love.